Hey guys, welcome back to Plumbing with Tim. Today I want to share with you a cool little trick when it comes to that leaky little shutoff valve underneath your sink or by your toilet. Now, any of you guys that have followed my YouTube channel for any time at all, a couple years ago I put out a video on super cool plumbing tips and tricks and stuff, and it got a lot of attention, and there was a lot of thumbs down and thumbs up and all that other stuff. And one of the little tricks that I showed you was on how you could manipulate a single angle stop like this, but I wasn't very in depth with it. And today I'm going to show you a couple little reasons why so many people have problems with angle stops. Check it out. Now, how many guys out there can relate to the fact if you're a do-it-yourselfer and maybe you want to work on your toilet, but you got to shut the water off to it in order to change out the parts and stuff. And you reach down there and you turn the handle and you go to turn it off, and next thing you know, it's leaking out of the handle. Now, why is that? Let me show you why. Inside of an angle stop is usually plastic threads with a single washer. Check it out. See that washer right there? Yeah. When turned to the shutoff position, inside of there is a seat. So when that rubber is turned to the off position and that seat goes all the way in, it's designed to shut the water off to whatever it is you're trying to work at. Well, after time, 99% of the time, people usually do not turn these angle stops off unless there's an absolute emergency. So this is what happens, and this is why we start leaking. When a simple angle stop sits in the open position for a long period of time, see up inside there, that little rubber washer I was telling you about. What ends up happening is when you go to turn this off, you'll kind of hear like a little pop. What that's doing is that little rubber washer has stuck itself in that position for so long, and now that you turn that to the closed position, you've damaged that little rubber washer in there. So when it goes down there to shut it all the way off, now it's leaking and you can't get it to stop. That's when usually a lot of people stop and they call a plumber. Let me show you exactly the best way of going about do this if you don't have the proper tools and you want to try to do it yourself. These little washers right here are made out of a synthetic neoprene. Not rubber, it's more or less neoprene, and you can see kind of like the little ring that's around it and stuff where it seats down in order to shut off. Well, now that this thing has finally been turned the first time in how many years, who knows, it's damaged and it's tore some of that part away and it's stuck to the inside of your valve, causing it when you go to turn it and shut it off, it's going to start leaking, especially right around where it screws in to the main part of the valve. Here's what to do. The first thing you can try, without turning your water off, if you need to turn your water off and you're a little worried about it, go ahead and do it at this time. Grab a pair of channel locks, hold on to the bottom of that angle stop, and right here is your packing nut. This is what holds the handle and that rubber washer and all that good stuff on there. A lot of times you can take an open-end wrench and you can take and just tighten that packing nut just a little bit. It'll stop dripping from that handle. Now remember, this is just prolonging the inevitable because remember, that rubber washer is now damaged because we tried to shut the thing off and it tore away some of that rubber washer that's inside of there, and it's not going to get any better from this point on. So if that stops that from dripping, you're good for the time being. Sooner or later, you're going to have to face the fact that you're going to have to do more to get that leak to stop. If that didn't work, here's the next thing you can try. Go outside and find your local water meter to your house or a reliable shutoff valve to the house. Down all the water in your house, get some towels together, a little catch bucket, whatever valve that is that you want to try to get stopped dripping and stuff. Get that all prepped so we don't make it a big mess. We have the water off to the house, the water's drained down. Here's the next step that you can take. Now that we have the water all out of the system and stuff, we got a little catch bucket with a towel and stuff. Go back to the angle stop with your channel locks and go ahead and loosen that packing nut up. See that? We're just going to loosen it up. You're going to end up getting some sort of water that comes out of there. We're going to take and we're going to pull that whole handle assembly off of there. Like this. That's the damaged part. Now let's say we got another angle stop we bought at the store, but we just don't have the ability to take it off. What if it's an old angle stop that's sweated onto the old copper and stuff? And you just ain't got the tools to do that or enough room to cut it off to put a compression valve on there. Take your new angle stop, even if it's a rough brass like this, take the handle off there. 99% of angle stops out there, even the old ones from back in the 60s and 70s, have the same thread pattern. We're just going to go ahead and we're going to line that thing back up, nice and easy, and screw that handle back on with the packing nut in place where we can tighten that down. Now we're not having to replace the whole darn valve. All we did is replace the handle with the packing nut and washer until it's nice and snug. Now it doesn't match. We got a rough brass handle on a chrome angle stop. But you know what? Who's looking? Now the leak went away. Slick. I do want to mention, once you go messing around with these angle stops, especially if they haven't been shut off in a long time, and remember we ruined the washer on the old one and everything, once that little piece of washer breaks apart, it can end up getting lodged up into a toilet and boogering up our fill valve. And now it's a residual effect. Once that happened, it shot that little piece of rubber up inside of our fluid master in our toilet, or in this case, it could be a sink, a faucet, and it's going to booger it all up where your water pressure is going to end up going away. Problems breed problems. That's all the time we got for this one. Thanks so much for hanging out and watching the video. Got any questions or comments? I'm sure you will. Leave them down below. This is not a hack. This is reality. A lot of you guys out there like to do things yourself. And if you just don't have the plethora of tools like a plumber and stuff, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But always exercise safety and caution. Don't ever try to change out one of these handles with a packing nut and rubber washers unless you have the water completely shut off to the house with towels down and a catch bucket. And if you forget anything I told you, go back and watch the video. Thanks so much, and don't forget to keep plumbing. See you later.